Hello. I don't know if I can hear you.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
there we go. There we go. I can hear. Yes. I
I
was
was
like, there we
talking
go.
all that time and nobody heard anything.
I was like, wait a second. I'm like, oh, it was on my end. I was like checking
What
everything if
a
it
way
was
to
all
start the
wired.
show. Oh my goodness. What a way to start the show. Because I'm going on. I'm like talking. I'm like, it's
I
amazing.
know I was trying. I was like, oh my gosh, I know she's saying something.
That's hilarious. But thank God it's working now. So
Yes, it is working. Yes.
right. So I was welcoming everyone to the show. I was telling you guys, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have our guest for tonight. As she's about to share her powerful story with us. I'm so excited. I'm excited because this is season 7. I can't believe we're here already. And I just wanted to get right into it so that you can hear what she has to share. And so without further ado, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell them who you are and what you do.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Shanae, and I am a founder of a nonprofit. The nonprofit we provide peer support and family peer support services to individuals that are facing the criminal justice system and their family members. And also, we have a program that specifically helps people that are incarcerated. And I have 2 beautiful children. I also, do some volunteer work. I also work for VOA Utah. I do some help with working with people that have early stages of psychosis.
Uh-huh. Wow, interesting. And so
Hmm.
you have so many roles that you play. And I have to ask this question, where do you find the time to do it all? Where do you find the time?
I I I always I always make jokes because there's not enough time. I wish that there was more time in the day to do even more of the things that I would like to be doing. But yeah, I just try to manage my schedule so that I'm taking care of myself, taking care of my kiddos, taking care of all of the priorities that are my top priorities first. And then, but yeah, I try my best to face everything into a really really organized schedule. That's for sure.
God, okay. And so you have such a powerful story, right? So we want to start from the beginning. I wanted to tell us where it all started for you. Where did that start for you?
Okay. Yeah. So I grew up with a father that struggled with addictions, and I learned from firsthand like what addiction was from a very early age, and that kind of stemmed my curiosity to what substances were and different things like that. But I never really like got introduced to certain drugs or anything when I was in school, but I ended up having a near fatal car accident when I was 19. And it was pretty traumatic and, had a traumatic brain injury from that. But I became addicted to opiates from that. So I actually firsthand had that experience with addiction. And it was a really hard process. I went through a lot of different treatment centers, but finally something stuck. And I went to a wonderful treatment center that I ended up working at after I completed it. I worked there and I just found this love for helping others that were experiencing something similar to me. And after that, I ended up switching career goals completely and I went into the salon industry, started a family, did all those fun things. And then I ended up just getting married to someone that was not who I thought they were going to be. And it was a really horrible process and I ended up experiencing the criminal justice system. I was unlawfully incarcerated for 2 months. I spent It was really horrible. It was probably the darkest moment in my whole entire life, even with the addiction, with experiencing the trauma from my kid, having my dad, having his addictions. I never, ever, ever, ever would have thought I would have felt the pain that I felt when I was incarcerated for those 2 months. It was absolutely devastating. And I know everyone says that they're innocent, but I was innocent. And I was sitting in there and it was horrible. The way that got me through it was, I did a lot of reading, a lot of writing, and I had amazing support through that process. And that's what led me to start a nonprofit is when I got out of incarceration. I saw a lack support within the criminal justice system for people that were incarcerated, and that people that were getting out of incarceration, there was really nothing set up for them where I was located. So I wanted to help. And so I turned that pain into a purpose. And I look at, a lot of the struggles that I experienced, I've just turned it into a purpose now.
Wow. Wow. That's just really impressive, because I like what you said, because you were there for 2 months and you could have said, okay, it was just 2 months. I'm out of here. Things are better for me now. And you could have left it there. But it was because that you had that experience that it really got you to, moving and getting things done. So how was that process after you came out of prison and wanted to start your nonprofit? How did that process go for you?
It was a really hard process. I was still dealing with a lot of the traumas and just the things that I was experiencing from being incarcerated, and then the overwhelm and kind of just the process of getting back to normal life and being with my kids, and just not being with them for that amount of time was really hard. But I navigated it, and I figured out really awesome resources and different organizations that were kind of trying to help throughout certain processes. And then I just started diving in deep into, how do you form a nonprofit? How do you do this? And how do you do this? And just really researched a lot. And it was a hard process. There was a lot of closed doors. There was a lot of no's, just because of my background, just because they, were like, well, you've been to jail. So, why do you want to help people that are in jail, type of situation? Like, are you going to be a harm to these people, or are you going to actually be a benefit? So it was a lot of no's, but it's turned around tremendously. It's turned into a wonderful process now, but it was a lot of closed doors.
Wow, wow, wow. And so when you went through that process of having those closed doors, what kept you going? What was that thing that, because I can only imagine hearing those no's and everyone just challenging what you want to do. What was your response and what kept you going?
Mm. My kids are what keep me going. They are the light always at the end of the tunnel. They are what navigate and always provide that. But it's also the individuals that gave me the support then when I was incarcerated that really led me, down that path of just because you told me no doesn't mean that I'm not going to dust myself off and get back up and keep going. I'm just going to push harder. So it was the fact that I have family support. I have friend support. I had those things, but there are individuals that don't have anything. And that's what motivated me the most, was my kids and those people that need help.
Wow, wow, wow. And okay, and so as you went through that process and things got going, and now you started to get some yeses, and person started to partner with you, and you're able now to, your voice is being heard. What are some of these things that you have been able to do in terms of the changes that you have been able either to implement or you've been able to add to? What are some of those things?
So some of those things, I mean, now we are able to help these individuals and help these family members and give these people, the tools to have a successful life, and that's what matters the most to me, really. I mean, I would really like to see certain policy changes and certain laws changed in certain ways. And that's what we'll start advocating more once we have a little bit more free time. We definitely have some things that I would love to see and reform, but also just advocating for, we provide those peer support and family peer support. So we do a lot of education on what peer support is. And so I love it. I love sharing that. And what we've tried to provide the most is just helping those people be successful. And that's what really is like the end goal, is just seeing someone come from incarceration and now they're living a successful life, have a job, have the house, have all those things back in their life, is where I see success from that progress.
Wow, I love it. I love it. And so I'm just remembering the name of the nonprofit, which is Justice by Objectives. What got you to that place where you said, "Oh, this is the name"? How did you know that was a perfect fit for what you wanted to do?
It took a while, like a little bit, but it was a board member that he actually helped give the name Justice by Objective. we were, talking about certain things. And then it also actually stemmed we have a program too, living by objectives. So we have that's a branch off from it. And he really helped with the formation of that. So Richard Goldberger, thank you for that. He was amazing. Or he is amazing, and he helped so much. So
Good, that's beautiful. And so, based on what you would have been through, the trauma from having seeing your dad with the addiction, and then you now becoming addicted, based on from the accident that actually had occurred. So, tell me, how did that incident occur, and then walk us through how you got to the addiction.
ooh, yeah. So the incident, I was in that near fatal car accident. So I had an ex that he actually ended up falling asleep behind the wheel, and he hit a parked car on the freeway when there's like never cars on the freeway parked. So but who knows what would have happened if that car wasn't there. I mean, but at the same point, it hit the passenger side went completely in, and that's where I was. And it completely, broke my jaw, broke all my teeth, and just broke ribs, did the whole thing, and then the traumatic brain injury. But then they prescribed me opiates, for the pain, and I was in severe amounts of pain. And I took the medications, I took whatever I needed, because I was in such agonizing pain, mentally, physically, just everything. I was in so much pain. And eventually they decreased my milligram, and kind of started weaning me off of certain things, and I became addicted to it, and I craved it, and I wanted that pain to go away because I had so much pain, not just physically but like mentally. And so I just wanted to almost numb it. And that's when I turned to just reaching out and seeking the opiate from other directions, and that's when it stemmed my addiction.
Oh wow, 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 wow. Okay, and so when the addiction started, how long did it take you to recognize, hey, I'm becoming addicted? Because
Mhm.
sometimes we can find excuses and we can say, oh, it's not, they're just taking it for the pain and different things like that. How long did it take you to recognize, hey, this is an addiction?
I truly didn't recognize it until everyone else saw it. So it was more like the family, my mom and, family members, grandma, different people that were surrounding me that were like, "Hey, like this is getting really bad, and you really have to figure something out." And so they pretty much did an intervention on me, and said, "You need to do this. You need to go to treatment, or we can't be here and watch you do this anymore." And I eventually was like, you know what, I did it. But I think that's why I wasn't truly doing it for myself in that beginning point. So it didn't really stick. It didn't really it didn't all the words that they were saying were just like blah 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 blah. Like it wasn't actually sticking inside of me. So it was when I really went for myself is when I fully embraced everything, and I took in every tool that they told me and gave to me, and I really found out why I was using the substance in the first place. I know I was taking it for pain, but I was taking large amounts that I shouldn't have been taking, in order for me to feel numb just from all of the traumatic brain injury was really what was the hardest because I lost my short-term memory. So that really, really devastated me. And reading and writing and all of those, that a huge outlet for me, and I couldn't do those things. I couldn't really, so it was really hard. So it was, yeah. So it was when I finally went to this one treatment center and it stuck. And that was my light, my light to fully change my life. So
Okay. And so when you went through that process, when you said no, you went to the center, and also because I can only imagine, because now you're trying to break something, a bad habit that you would have created. How long
mhm.
did it take you through that process to overcome that?
Ooh, the detox was horrible. Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That was physically agonizing, just absolutely horrible what I was going through. And
Yeah.
it took me, I mean, fully to be like, I've got this. Like, I feel like, and I've got, my head clear at this point. It took years. It took years to fully, like, being off of that substance, to feel like I had sense sense of control over my own physical and mental, stability of not wanting to take another drug. So,
Wow, wow, wow. And I have to ask this question as well, because I like what you said and how you went through the process. And from that, what was one of the main things that you were able to take away that you would, if there's any woman right now who's watching and, maybe that's something she's struggling with, what would be that main thing that you learned and that you would like to teach them so they don't have to go through that process?
mm. That's a tough one. I would say just live in the 10 seconds. I always tell people that, like, live within those 10 seconds because it's going to get better. And if you do feel like that something is taking control over your life, seek help. And if maybe you don't have that support there are people that are willing to support you through that. And there's a lot of amazing, amazing organizations and treatment centers and detoxes and different outlets that you can get the help that you deserve. And that's what I always just say is, it's hard going through an addiction. And I just say live in those 10 seconds. The 10 seconds is so easy to, like, think, yeah, you can live in this something. But seriously, it's so hard in addiction, living day to day, because all you're thinking about is that drug. And so just if you can make it through those 10 seconds and maybe pick up that phone and call that treatment center, give you I I hope the best. That's what I would give to someone is just you can do it, and anything is possible, and success is there. Just because you're feeling like you're stuck in that addiction doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck forever.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and from that, in terms of what are some of the other steps that you would say that they can probably implement outside of the 10-second rule?
Mhm.
Are there any other things that they can implement to help them, or even an indicator, I would say, because in your case, your family was the one who was able to say, hey, here's a problem. So what are some of these things that you can that they can look for that can indicate to them, hey, this is an addiction that you are dealing with?
Mm. I think that it's an individual kind of thing because every single person is different, based on their addictions. And I think there's different forms of addiction. But with a substance use disorder, I would say if that drug is all you think about, or that substance is all you're thinking about in the day, then I would start to reflect on maybe seeking treatment, because your priority should be living in that present moment, not seeking that drug at that moment, right? So the biggest thing is, if it's taking away from your job, if it's taking away from your personal life, if it's taking away from you eating, providing a roof or shelter over your head, those are all key things that it's indicating that something horrible is happening in your life and it's starting to unravel. And so if you can't have those survival tools, like house or, food or anything like that, and you're prioritizing that drug, then that's that's when I feel like there's definitely a problem in line.
Hmm. And what do you think may be one of those things that may be attractive to the particular, to any addiction? Because obviously we can only generalize it. In terms of why do you think people fall into that trap of an addiction? What do you think causes them to go there?
Ooh, that is so tough because so many people, it really depends. Like, I was so anti, like, just because of my father. I was like, I would never touch that substance. I would never do those things. But look at, I can't say that because obviously it happened to me. And so it really happens to anyone, and it could happen at any moment. Like, you could, food can be an addiction. This can be an addiction. Technology can be an addiction, but within substance uses, it really can affect any person at any time. And you could have, like what happened to me. I mean, a car accident, or you could have a surgery, or you could have, like, just different things that you don't plan on happening. So it's just making sure that you keep in mind that there's tools and different things to help you so that you don't become addicted at that moment. It's hard though. It's very hard. It's hard to classify, like why certain people become addicted, or, because I don't know, everyone's story is so different that I have come across, and because some people, it could be, they could smoke pot once, and then all of a sudden they start doing meth, but then there's one individual that could have had, knee surgery, and then they become addicted from it, and they just started, becoming physically dependent on it just because of the substance they were using it for so long. 'Cause you can become physically dependent on something, after X amount of time. So if you're taking it every single day, you can become physically dependent. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, and so let us go back a bit. Let's talk a
yeah,
bit now about the accident. And
okay.
so, accident occurred, and then you had those injuries. Tell us about that process and how you were able to overcome. Because I can only imagine the brain injury is that's a very serious thing. How were you able to overcome that?
Oh, that was the hard, like really, really hard. That was one of the top ones before I had the incarceration. That was the hardest moment in my life. It it was really hard to navigate just because I had never experienced it, and no one that I was surrounding myself with had ever experienced it, so they couldn't really navigate anything either. And then I was told by doctors, I would never have my short-term memory back, and I was devastated. So it made me even more, like, miserable because I'm like, "I can't go back to school." I was in college during that time. I can't go back to school because nothing is being retained. I can't, do that half of the things, so what am I just gonna work, this job that I, like, barely even like for the rest of my life, it was hard to fathom, it was really hard to process. So it was a lot of anger. I had a lot of anger during that time. I had a lot of resentment towards the person that, hit hit the vehicle. I definitely a lot of, blame onto him because I'm like, "You shouldn't have fell asleep," and so a lot of blame, but, I overcame it by going to a lot of therapy, and treatment helped me a lot afterwards. And then, it was rebuilding that like, the muscle memory or something, I don't know, I kept reading, even though I couldn't retain it. I kept reading, I kept writing, I kept doing the things that, gave me the motivate like, that fueled me before, even though I couldn't retain it, I just kept doing it, kept doing it, and eventually it stuck. And then I started to see that my memory was getting better, and that I was remembering certain things, like, better, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, is something happening?" I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool," And now my short-term memory is better than it ever has been. So I'm so happy that it fully came back. So whatever those doctors said, when people say that you can't do something, I don't always listen because sometimes, your mind is very powerful, and if you can, keep keep it going and keep that perseverance going, you can get through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And so, from that experience, what would be your words of empowerment now to someone who's dealing with a situation? Maybe it was that they had an accident just like you, or maybe they're dealing with an illness, or something right now is happening for them. What would be your words of encouragement to them?
Oh, um, I would just tell them, "I feel for you, and I'm so sorry that you're experiencing that pain, and I hope the best that you can get through those things." The best thing that and the outlet that I would say is to, to find the best support that you can, a good outlet that you can communicate what's going on, because that's what truly fueled me, and I had amazing my mother is the most amazing woman, and she helped me so much throughout supporting me and being my outlet and being my punching bag sometimes. And I had amazing therapists, and I've had amazing therapists that really have helped throughout that. And that is what I would really help, relay to someone that's experiencing those things is find that support, find someone that you can communicate with, find an outlet, find like a hobby, something that's going to give you the fuel back because you don't wanna be stagnant forever. I know that it's hard. I know that maybe if you got surgery done somewhere or an illness that you can't move around or do something, maybe find something that you can do while you're sitting down, whether it be a mindfulness skill or maybe even a guided meditation or doing something that can get you um, out of all the thoughts that are kind of going on and try to take in and be in present moment. But, support and the support system.
Good. Okay, good. Okay, good. And so let's talk some more. I know we're soon getting ready to wrap up, but let's talk some more about justice by objective. So, we've got it done. And, as you said earlier, it was a challenge in the beginning, but afterwards you got your feet rolling and you got things going. What are some of the things that you are hoping to accomplish through your nonprofit organization?
Mm. I have a lot of ideas. Yeah, but right now we're providing peer support and family peer support services, case management, and then also we create care packages for, incarcerated individuals when they're being released. We provide hygiene kits, clothing, underwear, socks, just kind of give them a little care package, and then also like a resource guide of like everything for their case management to be all set up. But I eventually would love to see it. I mean, right now I'm based out of Utah, and I would love to see it all throughout the state. Right now we're helping in 3 different counties, but for eventually, I would love to see the whole state. I would love to see it nationally. I would love to see peer support grow and blossom. I know that it's getting bigger in other states. We're starting to see it get a lot larger within Utah. So I would love to see that just expand and people just to be more aware of how amazing it is, and statistically how amazing it is. And I would also just love to, I would love to see, this help reduce recidivism. That's the whole end goal. The end goal is I don't want to see people go back. I want them to stay out. I want them to live a successful life and have those tools to gain their life back.
I love that. I love that. I love that. That's some great work that you're doing. And so, do you have a team that's working with you right now, or are you doing this on your own?
So yeah, so there's I have board members, and then I have a couple people that are helping, and then we have volunteers as well. So right now we're still, pretty newer, so we, don't have, like, a full team or anything. I would love to have one eventually. We're just slowly getting those grants coming in and different, funding options and doing fundraising events and trying to expand in that way. So eventually we would have a larger team, but it's just a couple of us right now.
Good, good. And so, if there's someone right now who's watching and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I totally connect with this nonprofit and I would love to be able to volunteer my services, how can they go about doing that? What's the best way for them to be able to volunteer their service?
Ooh, yeah. If they want to volunteer, they can reach out through our website, and it's justice by objectives.org. And you can just immediately, it would be contacting us right there. It has emails, phone number, and then also a contact us, platform that it goes directly to the email as well. And we would love to have more volunteers. So that would be wonderful.
Okay, beautiful. And so you guys heard it. If you are interested in learning more, it's right on the screen, justicebyobjectives.org. That's the website. You can go directly to our website, check them out immediately. Or if you want to just reach out right away because you've already made up your mind that, hey, I want to do something, you can send them an email immediately. Once you send an email, she'll be able to respond to you so that you can be able to assist as well with this cause. And so, okay, and so now we're sharing this and we're talking more about it. And so, what else can be done? Is there funding that is needed? Is there what exactly are you looking for to be able to attain for your nonprofit?
What we're looking for, like more in regard to the nonprofit, is that what you?
Sorry, repeat that for me.
Yeah, can you repeat it? Sorry, it was like
Oh,
echoing.
I said, oh,
Sorry.
sorry, my apologies. I said, okay, so for your nonprofit to be
Yeah.
successful and based on the family things that you mentioned earlier that you want to be able to accomplish, what are some of the things that you would need? Would it be funding? What exactly would you need?
It is funding. Yes, that is the biggest thing. That is, we have the people that would love to be a part of it. We have people that want to be a part of the team that are more volunteering their time right now, but I would love to be paying them. That would be a lot better too. And so that people aren't just putting forth more of their time because we still have to survive as well. People still have to be able to afford to get food for their own house and different things too. So that is funding is a big thing. That so if anyone would like to help Justice by Objectives, that would be amazing. We're a small nonprofit and we just are based off of grants. So
And is it easy to find grants for your nonprofit, or do you find that that's a bit challenging right now?
it's just time consuming. And
Okay.
so it's very time consuming. And we have a grant writer right now who actually does a lot of that. So that has alleviated like a lot of the time, that I was looking up a lot of the different stuff. It's very time consuming because you just need to find something that's going to be catering and you have to fill out a whole proposal. So it's a
Yeah,
longer
I get
process.
I can definitely imagine. And so, do you have any events coming up? Anything that you guys are working on that you would like to share, with persons that they too can come and be a part of?
So we are in the process of getting a fundraiser event right now. We actually just started talking about it yesterday. So we're thinking, or I love Halloween, so we're trying to, but it's kind of crammed on time to get it, but we're trying to push for it to be for Halloween. We just love Halloween, and it would be fun to have like a dress up kind of get together and have everyone get together and just have, music and the whole shebang and just make it a good time and share success stories and have, keynote speakers and different things like that. So once we have it, once we have it all up, I would love to share the information. So
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so I have to ask just before we go, we're getting ready to go. So you've been through quite a lot. We talked about the car accident, having the brain injury, dealing with the addiction as well, and then also being incarcerated for 2 months. Over and through everything that you have been through, at any point, did you ever thought to yourself like you didn't feel like you wanted to live anymore? Did you ever want to give up and throw in the towel?
yeah, there was plenty. There was plenty of times if I did not have my children during the time when I got out of incarceration, I don't know if I would have made it. It actually gives me goosebumps right now. Just because of how much they motivated me and they were the light always that kept me going.
Mm,
So
yeah.
if I didn't have them, and
Hmm.
I know that some people say you're not supposed to have s- someone that you're supposed to like, um, make that your priority. You should have it be yourself. But that was my priority at that time, and that's what fueled me to keep going. If I didn't if I didn't have them, I wouldn't have kept going because I was so dark and I just dark. My mind was so full of angry thoughts. Why, how did this happen to me? Why do these bad things keep happening? And I so just the kind of more just all the pain, yeah, all the pain that I was experiencing, but they were my light. Always have been my light at the end of the tunnel are my kids.
Mm, beautiful, beautiful. And so, what about your dad? Because you said he had an addiction. So, is it that did he overcome that addiction as well, or is he still dealing with that?
So he ended up passing away. So he passed away 8 years ago, and but fortunately, he was sober during that time. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, he got sober, and he did really well. And he had 2 years of sobriety, but he ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately. And so he had kidney cancer, but it went into his bones, and then he ended up passing away, and it was a very painful process to watch him go through that. He was in a lot of agonizing pain, and he's in a better place now. He's in a much better place, and I feel him all the time. He encourages me and empowers me all the time to keep it going, and he fuels me still to this day. Just because he was suffering from an addiction doesn't mean that he was an amazing person. He was an incredible father did like try his best. If he didn't have the addiction, oh my gosh, I don't know what he would have been phenomenal. So it's just unfortunate that he had to go through those things. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, he He died sober. So that was really cool. And he actually was in the process of becoming a substance abuse counselor
Good.
college and everything. So he
Mhm.
really changed his life around, and it was really cool.
Good, very good. All right. So we're about to wrap up now. And I always love to give that person an opportunity to share their lasting words. And so what would be your words of encouragement, to any woman who is watching us right now, or maybe they'll catch the replay about overcoming, because that's what you did. You were able to overcome your addictions, you were able to overcome, being in prison. You turned that into an institution where you're actually helping people. So what would be your words of encouragement to that person right now?
I would say don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. You just keep going, and even if you're feeling like, you know what, every bad thing is happening in my life, it will get better, I promise you. I have thought those horrible things, and I thought, I'm gonna throw in the towel and it's not gonna get easier, but it does get easier, and it does get better, and life is beautiful, and it really does. You just have to find that purpose. Find that purpose and find that calling, find that light at the end of the tunnel that keeps you motivated and keeps you keeps you going. You got this.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I just really want to say thank you so much. Thank you for sharing here tonight. It was definitely a pleasure having you. We definitely enjoyed your story. I know that someone who's watching right now, they're feeling encouraged that they too can overcome and that they will not be stuck where they are. So I just want to say thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a
Absolutely.
pleasure. I appreciate it so
Absolutely.
much.
Yes, you are most welcome. You are most welcome. Okay, guys, we want to thank you so much for tuning in right now. Thank you so much for being here. This has been an amazing, amazing, amazing journey we've been able to share with you here tonight. And this is just the beginning. We have 11 more powerful women who are going to be sharing their stories with you. They're going to be talking about all that they have overcome, everything that they've been through, and how you too can overcome too as well. So it does not matter where you are right now or what you have had to deal with. What matters is that you have the strength, the power, the tenacity, the ability to overcome that thing. You might have been battered, but you're not bruised and you're not broken. You can definitely get up and go again. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kimisha King. I am the CEO and founder of Queen's Mindset. If you want to find out how to learn more about Queen's Mindset and what we do, I want you to go right over to our website, and you can visit our website at www.queensmindset.net. Just go on our website, take a look, scroll through, you'll see everything that we're doing. If you want to go ahead and follow us, you can follow us at Queen's Mindset across all platforms. That's on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Instagram, and learn more about what we do. And so once again, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in here with us today. And we look forward to seeing you back here the same time at 6:30 p.m. That's AST time, where you're going to hear another story from another powerful woman right here. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.